Hello, in this video I will tell you what to do. In fact, the 10 basic steps what to do after installing Kloxo-mR hosting panel. And all the main video instruction is, for example, based on when you do it at home on your local computer. Maybe something further will be explained in this video. So of course we have some plan. So first is what will you get. In this case I use VirtualBox as virtualization. Here is my working server, and the second is test, on which I will show everything. So first we will see, in fact we won't know what we will get. When we go here, this is configured Kloxo-mR, which is configured on my local network. This server is placed at my home, but I have managed it to configure to use for some development tasks and so on. So the first what I want to show you what I get, what is the result. The result is that I have fully functional hosting panel. Second, for example, this website is hosted on this server, and this site also is hosted on my home server. So everything is possible, and the main video task is some basic steps after you have installed a Kloxo-mR hosting panel. But the one important thing also what is I have to mention, if you don't know how to install this panel, then you can go to YouTube, search install Kloxo-mR, and here is full guide. So it would be the prerequisite that you already have Kloxo-mR based on CentOS operating system installed. So the main thing I have shown you, and now we will go through the basic steps. So first step, for example, when I install on server, I use PuTTY program, and here after the last installation step we have the following like output. So when we have this output, we can log into our new Kloxo-mR hosting panel. We just copy this line, go to the browser, and we can log in. Default login and password is admin. But before we will follow the guide. So first, what will you get? I have told you. Now maybe let's go this step and then go one step previous. So setup admin password. We go here in our new hosting panel. We get data from here. Sometimes is that here is shown your server MAC address, but it is out of scope of this video. So admin, we can now log in, and it will prompt us that we must change password. So it is the prerequisite. So we enter old password, which is admin, or we can create our own password, or we can generate. It is like generate, and then of course we have to copy somewhere this generated password. Let's try copy, then we will open Notepad. We copy it here. It is not our password, so maybe let's click one more time generate. Okay, let's do it one again. Admin, we can figure our password. For example, it would be like this. Too enough complicated. We copy it, go back, password, confirm, update. And so that's good. Now we are in hosting panel, in our new fresh hosting panel. Like you can see here, all data is zeros. If I go in my panel, which I have configured a long time ago, we can see that there is a lot of like data, and we can understand that here is something going on. But let's go back to our, because main video task is first configuration steps. So setup admin password is done. About fully qualified domain name, it is the prerequisite when you set up Kloxo-mR. If you don't know what does it mean, I advise you go through this video. But here for this video I have created on service-no-ip.com. I have created free domain name, which is testkloxo.ddns.net. For example, if we go here to my hosting panel and I enter hostname, you can see this hostname that I have previously registered. This service is for free hostname, it is for free. Okay, next step. Now for this video we assume that we have fully qualified domain name. Here we are in our, by this moment, empty hosting. Okay, what we need else? I have mentioned fully qualified domain name. It is OK. Setup PHP.ini. When we go back here and it shows that we must update PHP.ini, we click here on that link. We go here and the most important, we just must select our time zone. As I live in Europe, then I check Europe. And click update. At this point, these two things are set up, so we can click done. What we need else? We look through, and maybe the first thing I will tell you that I have already like spent a lot of hours figuring out how Kloxo-mR works. So I will show you, because of course there are different types how you can configure, but I will show you my way because it is working. And of course, if you want to investigate this theme more precisely, or maybe you want to configure somehow another way, it is your right, but I'm showing the way I will do it. So one of first tasks, what I need. Okay, he has alert that the identification name for Mailserver is not set, and this identification is for Mailserver, and we can do it. In this case, I will use, if I would, for example, on my first of my servers, it is configured a little bit differently because here I have different domains, and I will show you it a little bit later. But now we're assuming that we have the main name with restrictions. We go back, enter our fully domain name. It will be Mailserver settings, and main configuration we set up here, and we press update. While it is updating, we can mark that that's setup Mailserver basic domain name done. Okay, then we go back here, information have updated. We go here in working configuration, and what we must see here, here is web and Jinx, cache none, DNS I will select power DNS, spam none, or you can select other. It is not like critical. In POP3 I will select Dovecot, and SMTP is the one option which will work is Qmail. So I go here in my clean server configuration, I press server and switch program. Of course it will take a little bit to load. While it is loading, I want to show you my domain configuration. Maybe because this server service name chip which I'm using, in fact this name corresponds. You can get domain name for about €1 in a year, and here you see a lot of records. Maybe we'll not dig very hardly here because you just now see how domain name is configured. In fact, if you will register for some money your domain, that it will look alike. If we go here are not more like configuration options. One thing we can do here, we can copy domain name, modify and add a mix record, for example like this, and it will tell our host name that the Emacs server is the same as our server fully qualified domain name. Of course, I apologize if something I tell to you is not quite understandable, but there are a lot of things when you use server and configure it. There are a lot of information, you can Google it. So here to work our server we select engines, cache none, page speed, we can enable page speed, then DNS, this is the servers which run our DNS. I will select pDNS like here, spam none, Davacat and Qmail, and I press update. Now it will date some time. Besides it is updating, we go back in our file. So services, this is not configuration that is like most great, but it is configuration which is working. So we write working done. So this step is done. Then we can look like in this point disable firewall or configure it. I can tell you such thing that in Kloxo-mR we have this section which is called services. We will go in our new server also there, and we will look a little bit on services. If you are familiar with IP tables or how correctly configure firewall, you can do it. But here this is working server now, because this is loading updating our configuration. We besides go and look here, and what thing we see, the database is used MariaDB. For like web server we use Nginx. For DNS we use PowerDNS. For PHP and other stuff we use PHP Process Manager, PHP FPM. For FTP we use pure FTPD. For SMTP mail we use Qmail. Okay, maybe we will left this thing because this server runs locally, and besides there are now at this point running two servers. System is a little bit slower, so I will put this video on the pause.